Hello, and welcome to episode number 2 of Aged Care Uncovered. I am so glad that you are here with us today. My name is Naomi Anderson, and today I am again joined by our guest co-host, the lovely Kaitlyn Cook.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello, good to be here.
And so what are we talking about today? Last week we spoke about signs and symptoms that your mum or dad need help. So what are we talking about today?
So following on from that, we're going to talk about home care packages. So we're going to talk about getting some help in the home and keeping our loved ones in their home as long as possible.
Awesome. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can assist your elderly loved one to find support at home. Let's start at the beginning, because I guess the first point of call that most people really look at is the Commonwealth supported home care scheme. So that's essentially where the local council offers some extra supports, and that is subsidised.
Yes.
So they do mainly lower care needs, things like shopping, gardening. What else do they do? They do cleaning.
Duties.
Yeah.
Yep. Also things like Meals on Wheels and stuff
Yeah.
can be utilised in this instance.
Yeah, so it's your basic, very, very basic care needs. That's usually when the person's still quite independent. They just need a little bit of extra support. And then we can move on to home care packages. Do you want to talk about those?
Yes. So home care packages, you need an ACAT referral assessment, and then you'll receive a code for that. And often you're placed on a waiting list. So that can vary between a few months to a couple of years, depending on the wait lists with that. And then you're allocated a package between level 1 and 4. So, and that will determine your funding from around $9,000 to around $52,000 per year. Now, it's important to note with these home care packages, it's not money paid direct to the individual, it's actually allocated to the package, and then that is assigned with care needs. So you can use it for things like domestic duties, assistance with ADLs, like activities of daily living. So that's things like showering and dressing as well, grooming. You can also use it on things like physio and occupational therapy, or you can save up for more significant things like your home modifications and transport and things like that as well.
Yeah, so let's dive a little bit deeper into the level 1 through 4 packages. Now, when an aged care assessor comes out or speaks to you over the phone to assess your elderly loved one, what they're assessing is how much support do they actually need, and so therefore based on that assessment, that's how much funding will be allocated to that person. And like Kaitlyn says, it starts from around $8,000 per annum through to $52,000 per annum. And again, that is paid to the home care provider and not directly to the person themselves. So it's really, really important to note that.
That's also allocated in increments throughout the year, so it's not paid in one lump sum either. So you might have to save up for the more expensive items.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you spoke about third-party things as well. So when you choose a home care provider for your elderly loved one, they will supply most of the resources and the care needs that your loved one will need. However, there are some times that provider can't provide something that they need, which could potentially be physio, podiatrist, home modifications, which we'll be talking about in a later episode. But the majority of things can usually be approved by your home care provider to be charged to your package as well.
Yeah. There's a lot of fees to consider when choosing a home care package. So you need to look at the case management fee, which is charged by the provider, the hourly rate for service, any entry or exit fees, travel fees and any external provider fees. So are they going to charge a percentage on top for anyone external that you use?
Yeah, and I think it's really important here to outline that these fees can add up very, very quickly. So if you have got funding of $9,000, for example, and your admin costs for a home care provider is taking up 30% of that package, that means that that's about $3,000 gone of your package. And then on top of that, they've got other fees like case management fees, like you were saying. And then if they charge a certain percentage of a third party fee, if you have somebody else that you want to use, like a physio, like we gave the example before. So it's really, really important that you're tracking just how much of the package is actually going to fees, because it's a very slippery slope.
Yes, it can add up very quickly, and that is all those extra fees is care that your loved one isn't getting.
Yeah. Where possible, I guess our advice would be to compare the home care providers against each other. And that's not always easy to do, because you're not comparing apples with apples, because some providers are better at one thing than another, and also they don't label their services the same. So there's no consistency across the board. So it's really important to ask questions. Hey, what does this fee mean, and what does that actually include, so that you can compare it to another home care provider. And also asking them for monthly statements or regular updates to see what funding is yet to come in, what's sitting there in the account, and what fees have been charged, so that you can keep an eye on that and keep on top of it.
Yeah, that's right. But the fees isn't the only thing to consider. It's also really good to look at the reputation and how long the company's been around, all their reviews and feedback as well, and any notices of non-compliance and their audit history as well.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realise that home care providers are also kept to the same standard as aged care facilities, so they have to abide by the same set of rules, and they are also accredited. So looking at their historical audits that they have been through is a really good indication of how well that home care provider actually manages its business and how well it treats its clients.
Yeah, which is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the care they provide.
And that's all for today's episode, talking about what support is available in the home, whether that's Commonwealth supported or if it's through the home care package scheme. If you or a loved one needs help in this area, feel free to reach out. And we would really appreciate a like or a follow or a subscription to any of our channels, whether that's YouTube, our podcast, our Facebook community, and also on LinkedIn. Or if you are going through this kind of journey with your elderly loved one and are seeking some support from other people who are also going through this at the moment, please join us at our Facebook community group called Aging Parents Support Group. We'll see you next week.
Bye.